Well, I was doing games all over the world, and I did that for about 15 years. We were then going abroad with quite a few, 200 people going various places. We thought, oh, this is ridiculous. We would get together and see if we can be better than this. And that's what we did.
Richard was in the software business, and this is the early days of computing. As Richard says, there were several got together because we weren't getting what we thought was the best deals from the suppliers. The conversations went through everything from paying bills to profit margins and to support, really, which is what we've always wanted from the distributors. And some of those distributors came along with us, and the group management, if you like, through Richard's chairmanship, we managed to get what we would say were decent retailers. So that got us into an arrangement with the distributors where they were quite happy to do deals for us. And that's what we did. And they trusted us. And that trust was the foundation, if you like, that we brought forward to Network Group. My hair was black at that time, I can tell you that, just as black as yours, and so was his. And the Network Group eventually was formed.
I travelled down to London and met the NASCA committee. There was another chap there who was part of the committee, and he was Will Copeland. Will and myself were quite keen on setting up a buying group rather than work with a group which was really focusing on issues within the industry rather than focusing on buying. So a small subcommittee was set up with Will and myself. The first meeting really was to discuss how to continue the promotions that Ultimate had started. The following meetings were really to discuss how we could develop a buying group. And those meetings were held at Mal Thomas's house.
15 to 17 members, I think, when we started. Most of those people, if they're still with their business or still in business, have stayed with the group all of that time. But the group has become bigger. It's brought in more and more external expertise. It's become more professional, no doubt about it, from being down the bull to the early hours with 5 or 10 of us around the bar to having an event at an establishment like this is a whole different feel. That core of people were the core of people that then gelled together as a group, as we enlarged the group. And as the group got bigger, trying to keep that focus, that same focus that you can get with a smaller amount of people, is quite difficult. And it was good to grow the family in such a way that you were still trusting each other, because trust is a real big one.
I've been associated for 18 years now, it goes back to 2006. I remember 32 companies being in the Toby Carvery, talking about various things, talking about cables of all things. But some wonderful memories across the years. We've seen people grow, people step into leadership, people that make a difference, not just within the Network Group room, but also within the general industry. And it's always pleasing to see that and note that the Network Group's seen wherever they are, normally in a good light.
I think from a personal level, the four or so years that I served on exec were really, really rewarding. The group was in transition at that period, and at the time I didn't think I was lucky enough, but looking back I was lucky enough to be able to be involved and transform the group to something similar to what it looks today.
We're now, 86, 87, approaching 90 technology service providers, and we've had some great fun along the way. We're here at Wembley Stadium today, which is wonderful. We've become a stadium-only band.
The galas are always great. It's a really great opportunity to have a bit of fun, right? Dress up real smart, but also, celebrate with the partners' achievements in the past year and what's to come.
I think back to Toby Carvery, we've done Twickenham.
The one that stands out the most to me is when we went to Twickenham Stadium to see what they class as the greatest stadium that's ever been.
We went around the whole grounds, that was absolutely amazing. It was the best turnout, I think, in terms of the gala. The dinner and everything was absolutely amazing.
But it was nice to see Scott Quinnell, a Welshman, actually owning the stage as he should do.
The go-karting I particularly remember as a really great event that got people involved, and that was just great fun. And the others went off playing golf beforehand and so on.
We've done some venues in Telford, and we've certainly seen things change over the time. Some real laughs, that's for sure, across our associations, whether it's Jim Bowen of Bullseye, Roy Walker, Ruby Wax talking about mental health.
I have two memories that spring to mind with our history of the Network Group. The The first is having the honour and, dare I say, privilege of presenting our very own Don English with the Fisher Price Award for contribution to the group. It was absolutely a priceless moment for me, and I hope Don enjoyed that as well. I'm very privileged to play a small part in the history of this group, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next chapter holds as we evolve.
Obviously the British and Irish Lions previously at Twickenham, we've had some great stuff and some great fun today, no doubt. Lots of great associations, really important vendor and partner community.
The highlights are the friendships. You know, David and Perry and Troy, the members coming in and giving the true feedback. The highlight of this group is the members of this group.
There are so many fantastic partners within this group that I've built fantastic friendships with and relationships with. The same with not just the MSPs, the vendors as well.
We know that the model works really well as an opportunity for us to get closer to a larger number of partners in a shorter amount of time. The network group is, you know, clearly in our sights as a key player in the industry here.
For me, it's a lot of the events, you know, just sharing good times with MSPs, partners, some of the members I would call lifelong friends, some incredible days out at different venues across the UK, some laughs, some tears along the way.
I've seen some of the strongest and most powerful reduced to tears, not to mention Alicia, of course, of Terra, where she's done that in our room.
I mean, I've worked with Network Group in various forms, but certainly since being at Terra Computer, it'll be 7 years. I think the best thing is ask Dave Tulip about Tiny Tears. That's probably a moment that I will never live down since working with Network Group.
My association with the group's been in various guys, been around different parts of the table, leadership for the past 6 years, and we've seen some challenges, not all been plain sailing. COVID was one of those. That said, I think we really stepped up and saw the community, the strength together, and made a real difference.
So the group now, today was quite good actually.
It was, yeah, very
But gone
good.
are the days when we go home and we used to have, what was it called, a stonking deal. A stonking deal was offered.
We haven't
when
done
came
that
to the
for a
meeting.
long time.
That gave you an incentive to come to the meeting because nobody said anything. It was all hush-hush until you came to the meeting. And then the guy said, well, I've got these and these are fine. Oh, lovely, we'll have some of those. And you go home thinking, chuff, oh, lovely, great. Those days have gone, but there is a little tickle here and there, and we're being tickled today. There are some people here today that are certainly tickling my fancy.
Yeah, it is much better.